Imagine eating only one meal a day for 30 days. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what I did. Now let's back up a bit. You might be wondering, what is this one meal a day concept? This diet strategy, also known as OMAD, is a form of intermittent fasting where the idea is to eat only one meal in a 24-hour period. That's right, no snacks, no grazing, just one substantial meal. So why did I decide to embark on this unusual dietary experiment? Well, suffice it to say, my curiosity got the better of me. I had heard whispers about the potential health benefits of OMAD weight loss, improved metabolism, increased mental clarity, and so on. But I wanted to experience it firsthand and find out if these claims held water. Of course, I didn't dive into this headfirst without some groundwork. I spent a good deal of time researching and gathering as much information as I could about the OMAD diet. I pored over countless articles and studies trying to understand the science behind it, the potential benefits, and the possible risks. But research alone wasn't enough. I needed expert guidance. So I consulted with a nutritionist to ensure I was doing this safely. We had in-depth discussions about what my one meal should contain. We talked about the importance of a balanced diet, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, and how to ensure I was getting the necessary nutrients within this one meal. Meal planning became my new hobby. I spent hours crafting a 30-day meal plan, ensuring each meal was balanced, nutritious, and hopefully, delicious. And just like that, the groundwork was laid, my meal plan was set, and I was armed with all the knowledge I could gather. There was nothing left to do but to dive in headfirst into this experiment. So, I was ready to embark on this 30-day journey of eating only one meal a day. Let's dive into what happened. The first week was, without a doubt, a roller coaster of emotions and hunger pangs. Each day was like stepping into the unknown, filled with anticipation and a good dose of anxiety. The pangs of hunger were a constant companion, gnawing at my insides with a persistence that was hard to ignore. But it wasn't just the physical hunger, it was a mental game too. There was this nagging fatigue that seemed to creep up on me, especially during the afternoons. My energy levels dipped and I felt more irritable than usual. It was as if I was running on empty, and every task required a monumental effort. And then there were the physical changes. I noticed a slight weight loss, nothing remarkable but enough to make me feel lighter. There was also a subtle change in my skin condition. It felt a little less oily, a little more radiant. I couldn't tell if it was the result of my new diet or just my imagination, but I was certainly not complaining. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. Amidst the hunger and fatigue, there were glimmers of positivity. I started to notice an increased mental clarity. It was as if a fog had lifted from my brain, allowing me to think more clearly and focus better. I also noticed an improvement in my digestion. My body felt less bloated, more in tune with itself. There were moments of doubt, moments when I questioned if I could continue with this experiment. But each time I reminded myself why I started this journey in the first place. It was a test of willpower, a challenge to push my boundaries and see what I was capable of. The first week was certainly tough, but little did I know the most challenging days were still ahead. Just when I thought things couldn't get any harder, the second week rolled around. The challenges of the first week were not a one-time ordeal, but a constant companion that seemed to have grown even more persistent. The second week was a battle of wills. My body was still adjusting to this new eating pattern, and the lack of energy was becoming more pronounced. My usual fervor for fitness was waning, replaced by a sluggishness that made even the simplest of tasks feel like climbing a mountain. And then, there was the difficulty in concentrating. I found my mind wandering more often, my thoughts becoming as scattered as leaves in the wind. But every challenge brings an opportunity to learn and adapt. And adapt I did. I started drinking more water to curb the hunger pangs, a simple yet effective strategy. I found that staying hydrated not only helped me feel fuller but also improved my concentration. Then came the multivitamin supplements, my new best friends. They filled the nutritional gaps in my diet, ensuring that my body still got the essential nutrients it needed. I was skeptical at first, but they seemed to help lessen the fatigue. And finally, I started engaging in light exercise. Nothing strenuous, just enough to get the blood flowing and the energy levels up. It was a struggle, to say the least. Every muscle in my body protested, but I persevered. I began to notice a slight improvement in my energy levels, and my concentration was slowly but surely returning. The second week was a test of my resilience, a testament to my determination. It was a struggle, yes, but it was also a learning experience. I learned more about my body, about its limits, and about how far I could push it. I learned that I was stronger than I thought, that I could adapt and overcome. As tough as the second week was, I was determined to push through and complete this experiment. I was in it for the long haul, come what may. The journey was far from over and I was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The final 2 weeks were a test of my resolve, but they also brought some surprising revelations. As I pushed into the third week of this one-meal-a-day experiment, I noticed something quite unexpected. My body had begun to adapt to this new eating schedule, leading to decreased feelings of hunger. I was no longer spending my days in a constant state of anticipation for my next meal. Instead, I found that my hunger pangs were less frequent and less intense. But it didn't stop there. My energy levels, which had taken a bit of a nosedive during the initial phase of the experiment, were now making a comeback. I felt more alert, more focused, more alive. I was able to power through my day without that mid-afternoon slump that had been a constant companion during the first 2 weeks. And then, there were the physical changes. I'd noticed further weight loss, but what really caught my attention was the quality of my sleep. I was falling asleep faster, sleeping deeper, and waking up feeling more refreshed than I had in years. But perhaps the most unexpected benefit of this experiment was the impact it had on my productivity. With only one meal to plan and prepare for, I found that I had a lot more time on my hands. Time that I could use to focus on my work, my hobbies, or just to relax and unwind. My mood improved as well. I felt less stressed, less anxious, and generally happier. As I neared the end of the 30 days, I was amazed at how my body and mind had adapted to this new way of eating. It was a challenge, no doubt, but the benefits I experienced made it all worthwhile. The final stretch of this journey was indeed a revelation, a testament to the incredible adaptability of the human body and mind. As I neared the end of the 30 days, I was amazed at how my body and mind had adapted to this new way of eating. So, I made it through the 30 days, but what did this experiment actually do to my body and my lifestyle? These are the questions that have been lingering in my mind. Let's start with the health impact. The first few days were tough, no sugarcoating it. But as time passed, my body began to adapt to this new eating pattern. I noticed that my energy levels were more consistent throughout the day. No more afternoon slumps or energy crashes post-meals. I felt more alert and focused, a mental clarity I hadn't experienced before. Physically, I saw changes too. My body became more efficient at burning fat for energy, resulting in a significant weight loss. And surprisingly, my strength and endurance didn't suffer. I was still able to maintain my workouts, albeit with a little more mindfulness about timing and hydration. Now let's talk about the lifestyle changes. The one-meal-a-day approach simplified my day in ways I hadn't anticipated. I spent less time thinking about food, preparing it, and cleaning up after. This freed up time for other activities like reading, walking, or just being present with my thoughts. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There were days when I craved the social aspect of meals, the joy of sharing food with friends and family. And yes, there were moments when I missed the taste and texture of a midday snack. So, what's next? Will I continue with one meal a day? Well, I'm thinking of a more flexible approach. Maybe 5 days of one meal a day and 2 days of regular eating. This experiment has taught me the value of flexibility and listening to my body's needs. This 30-day journey was challenging, enlightening, and ultimately transformative. And I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.